Hi, my name is Aurora. I'm 9 years old. Last year when I was 8, my parents got into big trouble with the IRS for unpaid income taxes. They were scared and confused, but I learned something very important that helped them to save our family home. They were very angry that our great-grandparents had the nerve to sell their future heirs into tax slavery by passing the 16th Amendment in 1913. But I learned why that feeling was wrong and why no one should hate their great-grandparents for passing the 16th Amendment. I learned amazing things about the income tax at a very young age. There are hidden truths about it that everyone should learn, especially children. So let's go back 1 year and start at the beginning. This is my story. My name is Aurora. I'm 8 years old and I'm homeschooled. This is where I live. This is where I learn. I'm already in the 8th grade. Welcome to my room. Mommy says I'm so smart because I love to read. I think she's right. I read everything in sight. But not all is well. Mommy and Daddy are very scared. They didn't save enough for income taxes, and they are afraid the IRS will take our home away. That would make me very, very sad.
There's nothing you can do, sweetheart. There's nothing anyone can do to help us now.
But I want to help. There must be something I can do.
Your mother is right, Pumpkin. You can't fight the IRS.
Mrs. Loscourt is a retired lawyer. Maybe she knows something we don't know.
Tell me what's bothering you, sweetheart.
Mommy and Daddy are in big trouble, Mrs. Loscourt. The IRS wants lots of money. Can they really take our home away?
Yes, Aurora. The IRS can take your parents' home, and their car, and their bank accounts.
Oh, no. Then it is hopeless, just like Mommy and Daddy said.
But there's a catch. First, your parents must actually owe money to the IRS for taxes. If they do, then they must pay. But what if they don't owe?
I don't understand. Daddy says we have to pay income taxes on everything we earn.
That's not true. Section 1 of the Income Tax Code imposes the tax on taxable income, not upon all income.
Then some income must be non-taxable. So how do you know which is which?
Sigh, I was afraid to say this while working as an attorney, but the IRS has lied to people for decades about what is taxable and what is not taxable.
So you can help us, right?
Not so fast, young lady. I can't represent your family directly, but I can show you where you can learn the truth about the tax system.
Hey, I love to learn new things.
Read this, sweetheart. The IRS tried to ban this book twice and failed both times to prove it wrong. This is the most accurate information about the income tax you will ever find.
Wow, can't wait to read it. Thank you.
Bye. Happy reading.
Bye-bye. Thank you again.
Where have you been, dear?
I've been talking with Mrs. Loscourt, Mommy. Did you know that not everything people earn is taxable? That some kinds of income are non-taxable?
That's crazy old lady talk. Everyone knows you have to pay tax on everything you earn. Don't believe a word she says.
Listen to your father.
I don't want to hear any more of that nonsense, young lady. I think you better go to your room and enjoy it while you can.
I'm sorry, Daddy. I just wanted to help.
Aurora prepares to read. Aurora is very unhappy. Her father is so close-minded. It is almost like he has been brainwashed into believing a lie, and Mother lets him think for her. How sad. Aurora starts reading and is quickly drawn in. She reads and she reads, and she is fascinated by every word. She reads most of the night. She's unable to put down Mrs. Loscourt's book. The more she reads, the happier she becomes, and the more she begins to smile. She can't wait for the morning to share the news with Mrs. Loscourt.
Good morning, Mrs. Loscourt. I've cracked the code.
That's wonderful, dear. Did that information help your parents?
No, they said it was just crazy talk, that I shouldn't listen to you.
Really? Then maybe you and I should teach them a lesson. I'll help you, Aurora. First, I'll ask your mom if you can go to the library with me. Then we can prepare our plan. To get started, you'll need to visit the Cracking the Code website. Go to http://www.losthorizons.com. That's where you can print out all the proof you'll ever need.
Okay, Mrs. Loscourt. I've got it.
Now you have all the proof sources: the Constitution, the Supreme Court decisions, and the IRS's own testimony. You must know all this like your own face. Are you up to the challenge?
I must prove to my parents that even a kid can learn tax law. They are afraid to think on their own. I have to show them how.
Do you have a plan?
I do. Next time Daddy's taxman comes over, I'm going to spring my trap. Until then, I'll learn the law like my own face.
Good luck, dear. If you need any help, please let me know.
Thank you, Mrs. Loscourt. You're the best friend a girl could have.
Aurora unpacks her treasure. She begins to memorize the secrets of the tax code. When the time comes, she knows she will be ready. Several months pass. Aurora can't wait for Daddy's taxman to return. He always comes in the spring. One rainy spring evening, it happens. The income tax man arrives. The sign on his van promises to save lots of money on taxes.
How bad is it?
Will we lose our home?
Well, there's some good news and some bad news.
Aurora sneaks down the stairs. She listens quietly from the hallway, holding her breath.
You owe an additional $24,000, but the IRS won't take your home if you pay them an additional $1,000 a month for 2 years, plus interest.
We can't pay that. We're barely making ends meet now.
I haven't heard any good news yet.
We're doomed.
This is impossible.
You must also have extra money taken from your paycheck to make sure you don't fall behind again. It's all part of this agreement you need to sign.
Oh, Sub.
I give up. I don't know what to do.
This is ridiculous. I know exactly what to do, because I know more about taxes than any of you.
Woe is us. Oh.
How dare you interrupt, young lady? Go to your room right now. Kate, snap out of it. Control your daughter.
I'm sorry, Father, but this man figured your taxes all wrong. The IRS owes you a $16,500 refund, and I can prove it.
Oh, I'm sick.
How would you know anything about my taxes?
Because you left your papers on the kitchen table, Daddy. So I figured your taxes the correct way.
Why don't you hear her out, Ken? She's got my attention.
Girl, taxes will be the death of me.
Okay then. We'll hear you out, sweetie. But first, I'll help Mommy back up.
Thank you, Mr. Taxman. You will learn something too.
I've already learned something. You're not afraid to say what you think.
I'll show you on the big screen how to calculate Daddy's taxes. First, let's agree on the basics. The United States Constitution is the supreme law of the land. All the states and all the judges must follow this law. If there is a disagreement or question over what the United States Constitution means, the justices of the Supreme Court decide. Their ruling determines what the law means. After that, all the states and all the judges must follow the decisions of the Supreme Court. Do you agree with that, Mr. Taxman?
Yes, of course.
The Constitution authorized two types of taxes. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 1 said, "The Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes, duties, imposts, and excises. But all duties, imposts, and excises shall be uniform throughout the United States." Article 1, Section 9, Clause 4 said, "No capitation or other direct tax shall be laid unless in proportion to the census, apportioned, or enumeration herein. Excise taxes must be uniform, direct taxes must be apportioned." Excise taxes are privilege taxes. If the government builds a road on land it owns, you don't have a right to drive on it. Driving on it is a privilege, and the government can charge an excise, like a gasoline tax, for the privilege of using their road. That's one example. Direct taxes attach directly to you or your property. The Constitution says these taxes must be apportioned by the census. So if there are 300 million people and the government wants to raise $300 million, the most the government could collect would be $1 for each person.
The 16th Amendment changed that, young lady. It provides for a direct income tax on all you earn without any apportionment.
Forgive me if I sound disrespectful, Mr. Taxman, but you don't know what you're talking about.
That's not true. I am a highly trained tax professional.
OMG.
Sir, you may know how to calculate the correct tax when income is taxable, but the 16th Amendment did not make all income taxable.
Nonsense. Just read the 16th Amendment. It's very clear to any thinking adult.
I did, and it says, "The Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes on incomes from whatever source derived, without apportionment among the several states, and without regard to any census or enumeration."
See? That's perfectly clear, isn't it?
No, it's not clear. Congress always had the power to tax incomes as an excise tax, and the income tax was actually enacted in 1862 as an excise tax on certain privileges. The 1913 law, the 16th Amendment, refers to privileged income only, income that is taxable as an excise, period.
That's not what the 16th Amendment says.
You're right. The 16th Amendment appears to say something it does not say. That's why the Supreme Court got involved. The unanimous Burschelber decision in 1916 made it very clear that the income tax has always been an excise tax on privileged income and not a direct tax.
I've seen court decisions that say otherwise.
You've seen lower court decisions that lie about the Burschelber decision in defiance of the Supreme Court. But the Burschelber decision remains the law of the land today. It has been reaffirmed numerous times by the Supreme Court. Anyone who says otherwise is a liar or an idiot. Which are you?
Neither. I don't know what the truth is, really.
That's dishonest. You don't know what the truth is, and you're advising my father to pay thousands of his hard-earned dollars out for a privilege tax? What privilege did he receive that causes him to owe this money? He has a right to earn money to live, doesn't he? That's not a privilege.
Well, I don't know what to think.
This is what I think. You should learn the truth. Go to this website, http://losthorizons.com. Find out how people are getting all their money back from the IRS, just like my daddy should, and just like you should too.
I must admit that you have me intrigued.
I may be just a kid, Mr. Taxman, but this is not rocket science. If I can understand this, you can, and so can Mommy and Daddy. Thousands of people have been getting all their money back from the IRS since 2003, the year Cracking the Code was first published. I have photocopies of some filing documents and their 100% refund checks right here. Please take them.
Thank you, Aurora. You're an amazing young lady.
She sure is.
Days pass since the meeting. Aurora expects to hear from the taxman anytime. She watches day and night, waiting for the taxman's return.
Hi, Aurora. Are your parents home?
Hi, Mr. Taxman. Yes, they are both home.
Here's your amended return, Ken. I filled it out just like Aurora said, and you have $16,500 coming back from the IRS.
Yay!
Oh my God!
Our homes and lives are saved. Thank you.
Learn the truth about the income tax. The IRS tried to ban this book twice and failed each time to prove it wrong. Year after year since 2003, they continue to issue 100% refunds of all money withheld from the paychecks of ordinary workers, including Social Security and Medicare. See over $12,202,592 in documented refunds online, which represents just a tiny fraction of those actually received. Check it out today.
Hi, this is 9-year-old Aurora once again. Isn't it time for you to crack the code? Isn't it time for you to do your patriotic duty and learn the truth and spread this video far and wide? And isn't it time for you to teach your kids? We don't need another generation of brainwashed Americans feeding the tax monster. It gets enough. It will survive without feeding on those who don't actually owe the tax. This is so simple, even an 8-year-old can understand it. If you have the privilege of working for the government, or contracting with the government, or using government property to earn a profit, the income from that privilege is taxable. If you receive Social Security benefits, or unemployment benefits, or any other kind of government benefits, those benefits are taxable. Benefits that come from the government are a privilege, not a right, and they are taxable. But if you contract with a private company as a private sector worker to earn money to provide food, clothing, and shelter for yourself and your family, this is a God-given right. It is not a privilege, and it is not taxable according to the Supreme Court. One more thing. Have you ever wondered how your great-grandparents were persuaded to sell their unborn children and grandchildren into tax slavery by passing the 16th Amendment? Well, now you know. They didn't. They knew the income tax was a beneficial excise tax on the profitable exploitation of federal privilege. They knew it was not a direct tax that would sell their future heirs into tax slavery. They knew. They knew their unborn children would still have the right to choose whether to exercise federal privileges for profit or not. It was only many years later, during the confusion of World War II, that your grandparents' heirs were tricked into tax slavery by an entirely different means. To learn more about how the government and the IRS used the confusion of World War II to trick people into falsely claiming and falsely believing that their non-privileged, non-taxable earnings were somehow privileged taxable income, please follow the supplemental links that accompany this video. Thank you.